So welcome, guys. It's good to see you both. It's good to see your faces.
Good to see you. And I love your background. I like the gas balloons behind you.
Yes, that's from, I think that's from Bern, actually, that shot. I think I recognized with the lights in the background. It's interesting, Barbara, though. All three USA teams, we have a female competitor. So we've got you, we've got Sherry White, we've got Brenda Cowlishaw. And that's really interesting, isn't it? Because I'm not quite sure which other teams have got a female in the basket. And why do you think that is? Why do you think we've got American teams all with women taking part?
I'm not totally sure, but maybe it's that us women here in the United States are a bit more pushy and getting into this gas ballooning thing. But it is interesting that we do have three teams this year, and we are virtually the three competitive women pilots in the United States, and we're all three coming.
Yeah, fantastic.
I agree.
How did you get involved, Barbara? When did gas ballooning begin for you?
Gas ballooning began for me in the late 90s, and it was after Peter got into it. I got into hot air first, but he got into gas ballooning first. So he was the one who got interested in it and got his restriction removed from the US certificate first. Yeah. And then I went and flew with him, and I love it because I like flying longer. And the unknown of exactly where you're going to be is intriguing to me. So I like gas ballooning.
Yeah. What about you, Peter?
Yeah, I started out joining a club that was building a gas balloon from a kit. And it started out with being about 6 people, and about 4 of them didn't really drop out, but didn't participate very actively. And so me and one other person pretty much were reduced to building the balloon. And then one of the other people did drop out, and brought Barbara in as an official co-owner of that balloon, and we built that and flew it several times. Then we stepped up to a little bit better gas balloon and got a little bit more serious about it. And from that point, it's been kind of a slippery slope downhill.
Fantastic. Tell me about your gas ballooning experience with competition. What's your connection with Gordon Bennett and the American Challenge, I suppose?
Well, we've been doing American Challenge ever since I got into it. Peter flew one America's Challenge flight with another balloon pilot from the group that built his first balloon. Yeah. And after that, we flew our first one, and he said, "That's it. I'm only flying with you in competition from now on." But we have been to 7 other Gordon Bennett's representing the United States in our time.
Actually, 8.
8.
Okay. You know, it's fun to be around all the international pilots. The level of competition is just intense, and yet everybody is friendly. Also, it's an interesting, once we get in the basket, we're competitive, but outside of that, we're friendly.
Yes. And I'm trying to imagine how it feels. I ask all the teams this, that start, the evening time, normally with 30, 40, 50,000 people. The national anthem starts and the release, it must be absolutely, it's emotional on the ground. To be commentating it to camera is emotional, but to be in the basket, to hear your own national anthem as you lift away, it must be incredible.
It is almost brings tears to your eyes. In fact, in 2006, when Richard Abruzzo got back in the basket after his accident, and got in there, he actually was in tears. It was, it can affect you very strongly. And I've seen spectators in tears. It's just very emotional. And that really, to me, is the most important aspect of gas ballooning. It's the participation. It's not necessarily the winning that means the most, I feel.
What do you think, Barbara?
Yeah, I agree with that. It is emotional. It is, there you are, and you are concentrating on other things because you're worried about the rate of ascent and where you are going. And usually we're launched in enough space timing that you're not going to collide with another balloon. But you have a lot going on, and yet here is your national anthem being played. So you're paying attention to that also.
Yes. I've spoken to many people about the first night. I want to know a little bit about the second night. You know, you've the first night, your adrenaline's pumping, of course, and it's all starting, and you've been leading up to this. And then 24 hours later, going into that second night, if you get to the second night, tell me a little bit about that.
The second night is always the hardest night, because in the competition races nowadays, you need to do 3 nights to be competitive. So the second night is, oh my God, we got to get through this night. It's going to be long. The third night, you know, you're landing the next day, so there's always an uplift there. So the second night does seem to be the longest and the hardest. Yeah. And you just gotta, we just take our turns, rotating back and forth as much as we do. And we kind of naturally just allow ourselves, for some reason, we wake up after 2-3 hours and we'll just switch so that we're not purposely waking each other up to do it.
Yes. Yes.
You want to add?
Yeah, the comment I would add is very typically in these flights, you take off 2 or 3 hours after sunset the first night. So literally the first night is 2 or 3 hours shorter than the second night, because you're going the full sunset to sunrise the second night. And you're also no longer in known territory. As an example, for the America's Challenge, we fly out of Albuquerque every year in the America's Challenge. And the first 24 hours we're in very familiar territory. But by the second night, you could be heading to North Dakota, you could be heading to Florida, you could be heading to Ohio. So now there's an extra unknown factor there. And the weather has probably changed in the past 24 hours. So you're reassessing what the weather is doing. And there's more uncertainty and the night is longer. And you know you've got to do a third night also if you're going to be competitive. So it's kind of being in the middle of the swamp with alligators all around you and not sure which way to go to get to the edge of the swamp.
Yeah, that's a really good analogy. I'm going to write that one down and use it in commentary. I like it. What about your team? Who have you got with you this year?
Who's coming as our chase? Is that the question?
Yes.
That hasn't been worked out yet. We're still working on that issue.
We have friends in Germany, Stefan and Sabrina Hundel, who are going to help us out. I don't think they're going to be able to chase us. We have Astrid Gerhardt, who has provided help for us in the past. We have 2 local crew members who are considering coming. It would be a first for them. And there's one other person who may be coming from the United States. But since the whole situation has been so up in the air until very recently, we're just finalizing plans right now.
Yeah. I'm in the same situation. I've not traveled anywhere in 15 months. I've been here in Montreal. And so the actual thought of going somewhere is almost mind-boggling.
Yeah. Well, really Benoit just emailed today that as far as quarantining goes, he thinks most of Europe is open except for the UK. They are still the most restrictive. And he was saying that we could get COVID testing. So we'd have a 72-hour range. They have a COVID test before we fly in case we end up in a country that's going to require it.
Right.
So that was reassuring.
Yes. Yes, of course. Yes, that's another point. I'd not even considered that. Of course, you're during the event, wherever you're going to be, you know, that's the COVID restrictions of that country become applicable. Of course, that's definitely need to be aware of.
And then we have to drive back through whatever countries we flew over. And if, for example, we had to quarantine for 10 days in each country we were driving through, we may not get back for a month.
Yeah. And if you've got to pay hotel bills in every country as well. I mean,
yeah, and those have been real concerns for us in deciding if we were going to come or not. And so we've been kind of waiting to see how things are going to play out, because in the United States, a lot of things are saying July 1, we're really opening up and things are kind of getting back to normal because we've had a good success in getting people vaccinated. And unfortunately, you guys in Canada still can't easily cross the border to us.
No, No, we can't. I've got both my injections. I've got both my vaccinations. It's still, I mean, there's so many people around this area, New York, and places I could easily get to if the borders were open, but unfortunately not at the moment.
Yeah.
You have to see. So I hope they let me back in after the Gordon Bennett. If not, I'll have a few more weeks, I think, waiting to get back in. Where is your basket right now?
Basket is hanging in the garage right now.
In Albuquerque.
In Albuquerque.
Yeah.
It's got to get shipped over there, basket in the envelope, probably around the 1st of August, I think we're going to have to get it. We've got a quote for getting it shipped out of Dallas, and we have a warehouse that we can ship it to in Germany. So we will probably fly into Frankfurt, pick up the basket and envelope, and drive from Frankfurt into Toulon.
Yes. That'll be nice. Toulon, I think it is Toulon. It'll get better the closer we get to the event. The pronunciation will, of course, get better. Well, guys, I'm really looking forward to seeing you there. Anybody else you want to give a mention to while you're on? Anybody who's been helping you along the way?
Benoit has been just outstanding in answering every question we have sent his way, and he's offered oxygen tanks, which of course we can't ship, and batteries, which and helped us figure out that our ADSB system from here in the United States will work perfectly over there. So we'll be fine with that. He has been an extremely good person to deal with this year.
I do want to give a shout out to Brenda and Brian, because this is going to be their first Gordon Bennett. And they have been waiting for 2 years because they qualified last year for Poland, and then it didn't happen. So, and of course, Mark and Sherry, who have been flying Gordon Bennett's longer than anybody else I know. I think Sherry holds the women's record for the most entrants in a Gordon Bennett. So it's a good team, and all of the competitors, I feel like they're all our friends. And when they come to Albuquerque, we try and supply them with anything that they maybe couldn't have brought with them. And when we go over to Europe, they do the same for us. So are you going to be coming to Albuquerque?
I keep trying every year. I keep putting my name forward. So I'm still waiting for the official stamp. But yes, put the elbow in for me to get the word around.
We've got the official, supposedly, announcement that the America's Challenge is going to happen this year. May have 7 or 8 teams in it. So we're going to have to get our balloon back from Poland in order to fly it in the America's Challenge.
Yes.
It's nice that the Gordon Bennett is in August. It gives us a little bit more time to turn it around for October for the America's Challenge.
Yes. Yeah, the last time it was very close, wasn't it? It was like the week later.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was one year when it was only a week apart, so they didn't hold the America's Challenge that year. So
I think that was 2018.
and that was
17, 18. Can't remember, but yeah.
18, because we had a race in 19, and then we got canceled last year. So
yes.
Yeah.
Well, guys, enjoy your afternoon, and I look forward to seeing you both in Poland. But thanks for joining us, Barbara and Peter. It's been a pleasure. Great catch up with you. Thank you so much.
Yes,
We'll
thank you. And
see
sorry I missed your email earlier.
No problem. Here we are.
Okay.
See you then.
All righty. Bye-bye.